So we talked about the estate side, meaning that everybody has an estate. And I get it. Some people want to continue with this notion, oh, no, because they go cheap welfare league. They ain't no good and they ain't worth it. They haven't been worth anything. And we're going to get on that. But the bottom line is, what you're being told in the public about the WNBA being a welfare league is just not true. Behind the scenes, they've been had money. Somebody has been withholding it. And then I'm going to get into some other things once I finish this next topic. So now I want to get into the legal side. First of all, let me state this. There's a player in the WNBA by the name of Caitlin Clark. Now, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be watching the WNBA for no reason, because there's so many things going on in that league, and I saw it. And I'm going to give you some ideas because I actually did a brief tour with my team. I used to do halftime events, so I'll show you some of that footage.
Escapade, because you know why? We needed some excitement here. Now you see us all energetic around here. Kids are vigorous now. That's great.
Tammy Sutton Brown has been, this is our first leg of the tour, and it is a great show. Y'all need to go check it out. Make sure y'all check it out.
I enjoyed having you here. You've been a great inspiration to the kids, and especially the young ladies, because I asked them, now do you really want to learn how to skate? So now they want to learn. Yeah, now they want to learn, and I want them to see how good it is for fitness. The Escapade, our main goal is to promote fitness to youth, middle school, elementary school kids, which is why we loved the demographics that we were able to target on this trip.
I think it's key because you said kids. We all figure it out later on in life, but they can get a jump start with people like you guys really pushing things.
Is to eat right and to maintain exercise. So long as they get an early start, it'll be easier for them to maintain that. It's really hard to correct a bad habit. When we start them early, help them understand that it's important to exercise and a fun way to exercise, it's all good.
Why is fitness important to you? Fitness is important. It's part of my life and part of the WNBA's life too. Always want to have the kids active and keep them going.
When you told me that, I thought it was an awesome thing to do.
I just think it's really a great opportunity for the youth to experience an alternative means of exercise. And it's fun, it's entertaining. There's just a lot of different things that can go on when they're in the ring. I'm Rusha Brown.
Pokey Chapman.
Chris Allen and Naomi.
Michelle. Tamara Young for the Chicago Sky. Fitness is my game.
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 I did a little bit of business with the league, and I was turned off with what I saw. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But here comes Caitlin Clark. And before she came into the WNBA, you would hear all of these people saying negative things about the WNBA. Or, they're a welfare league. They can't play, and they're not worth it, and nobody wants to watch them. And really, it was true. That's true. But here comes Caitlin Clark, and she's bringing a whole other energy to the game. And so now I'm watching and I'm paying attention to some of the things that are going on in this league. And I can tell you it doesn't look good on so many levels. But I want to get into a legal aspect, because when Caitlin Clark was coming into the league, there was all of this talk about how she's not going to be able to handle the physicality. She's not going to be able to deal with the rapid pace of play. She's not going to be able to put up numbers like she did when she was in college. Just all of this stuff about, what the league is. And one of the things you'll notice about the WNBA is they kind of pride themselves on the physicality of the league. And so here's Caitlin Clark. Now, and I'm not saying she's the only one, but she's definitely the one that we see getting a lot of hard fouls coming on her. But this is one of the fouls where she was knocked down during play. Here's another one. All right, so this is one when she was being knocked in the head. She's being knocked in the head right here. And I'm not going to call people out, because that's not what this particular session is about. It's not about me calling anybody out. But the only reason why we know it's with Caitlin Clark is because for me, that's who I'm watching. Now, if she's not playing, I don't want to watch. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm going to get into some things in a few minutes. Here's another one where she's being fouled. So we know that she's gotten a lot of hard fouls. Here's another one where she went to the ground. And those of y'all who watch the WNBA, you know what happened on this play. All right. So she's been getting fouled. There's been a lot of physicality. And then one of the things that we're noticing is that a lot of fouls are not getting called her way when there should be fouls, not even just for her, a lot of the players. There's certain players that'll get good calls, and then there's certain players who won't. They call it a special whistle, all right? Now, I'm going to say this because we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But let me just talk about how we can remedy this, because I need y'all to understand that when the referees have an issue, they want to call a technical foul on a player, all right? Now, the same way those refs are calling a foul or a technical foul on the player needs to start calling their own foul. And you do it by way of a lawsuit. Now, some of y'all might think that's crazy. Some of y'all might think that's crazy. But when we're talking about Caitlin Clark, why is this such a big deal? Why are the fouls against her such a big deal? There have been some really blatant fouls, and then when we talk about the commissioner's like, oh, you know, that's good for the league. Everybody likes to see a good fight every now and then. Let them fight. Racism, don't worry about that. Everything's good. Now, I'm getting on that racism thing, but her response was, I'm just going to let them play. I'm not going to put any rules into this thing. If they play. Now, with Caitlin Clark, we know, yeah, okay, on the backside, on the private side, everybody has funding. However, when we're talking about views and viewership, now we start talking about billions of dollars. On the private side, we got some millions. But when we start talking about viewership on the public side, we got some billions. And the thing is that the only reason why they've signed this new contract for, $60 billion is because of Caitlin Clark. So here is someone who could be looked at as your golden goose. And instead of protecting her, you're like, oh, just play the game. It's hard out there. The physicality of the league. Okay. So then when you look at those files, like what I just showed, what you're looking at is an assault. And you're looking at a commissioner that is allowing the assault. So how do you deal with it? We don't cry, we don't moan, we don't whine. At this point, some people need to start putting lawsuits into play. The same way Derica Hamby put her lawsuit into play. And I get it. It's going to cause some issues. But either you're going to whine about it, or you're going to take it, or you're going to start calling your own files. I don't know, some of y'all back in the day, anybody remember James Brown? When James Brown was on stage and somebody missed a hit, like somebody in the band, and James Brown was like, hit me one time, boom. If you missed that hit, James Brown do you like this. James Brown will hold up 5 fingers. And what he was saying is, I'm ready to charge you $500 for missing that hit. That's how he used to do when they would screw it up. And so at this point, somebody needs to start holding up 5 fingers and pointing at a referee or at a coach or sending it to the commissioner. So now if you're talking about me and Caitlin Clark, if I'm Caitlin Clark and I'm out here and I know that I'm worth millions, when I hold up 5 and I point to a referee because they missed a call, then you know what? That's $50,000 I'm pointing at you, because I'm ready to send a lawsuit to you, to the commissioner, and make it clear. I have witnesses. I have proof that this referee has failed to make calls when people have assaulted me on this court. I'm not going to keep complaining about it. I'm just getting ready to send you a 5 note for $50,000. Every finger I'm holding up is worth $10,000. I'm ready to send it to you, referee. This is what I'm saying is, stop whining. It wouldn't be me on the court whining.